What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Kibz. She's a radio personality out of New York City. And we want to talk to her today, just about, her career and her life and things that maybe you like to know about her. If maybe some of you have seen her before or heard about her radio show. So Sana, thank you for joining on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am happy to be here.
All right, Sana. So, for people that just maybe didn't know much about you or just saying, who is this lady? You tell people just a little bit, about you and your show.
My name is Kibz. I'm Nigerian American. I was raised in Washington, D.C. and Maryland area. And then I came to New York City in 2013 to pursue the all-American dream. I started in entertainment on TV. I actually have a modeling background. I actually went to school for modeling, not technical school, but skills school for modeling. And from there, I moved to New York City in 2013 to pursue entertainment. And I got on radio, okay, let me say, I got on TV working with WeTV on a show called Hustle and Soul, which is actually airing in Nigeria now, but before it was national. And now I am on 107.5 WBLS as the co-host of the first Afro Beats radio show in New York City called Afro Flavor Radio.
All right, so you went to modeling. I mean, is that something that you tried to pursue at first, or just say, I'm going to be hopefully a runway model, or what did you want to do in modeling?
Well, actually, I am 5'8", and I'm also very slim. So I remember when I was, I think, maybe 12, 13 years old, I have the actual typical model story. Well, it's not typical anymore because models are found on social media these days. But back then, people used to be discovered at restaurants, at malls. And so I was actually with my mom in the mall, and the scout came up to my mom and said, "Hey, your daughter, how old is she?" And she's like, I think she said 13. She's like, "Wow, she's really tall for a 13-year-old. We would love to see if she would want to come out to our auditions that we're hosting at a hotel like maybe a week after." And yeah, so my mom's like, okay, well, I didn't see myself, pushing my daughter in that type of direction, but she saw that I was really into fashion. So we went to the casting, and I was casted to be a Barbizon modeling school. I went there first, and then from there I was signed to Wilhelmina of PA. And then from that moment on, I started doing things in the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area. I did things for Costco's. I did things for Sears. I did shows for BB. I did shows for what other, because it's been so long. I've done things. I've done promotional modeling for Clairol. I've done promotional modeling for Vaseline. So I have done a lot. And then as I got older, I started coming back and forth to New York City, and that's when I started getting casted for bigger shows. So I did the first African Fashion Week. Yes, I did the first African Fashion Week. That was in, I think, 2010, if I'm not wrong. And I've done so many other things since then. I worked for TJ Maxx. I've done so many things. I don't have my resume in front of me, but that is how my modeling, career started. And that's how it led me to moving to New York City permanently.
Okay, so you end up going, you say, through Barbizon. Yes. And you went from Barbizon to all these other, gigs, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so when you got to New York, were your focus just modeling, or how did the entertainment come into the play?
So I've always had an interest in just TV, media, and things like that. I actually went to school at University of Maryland Eastern Shore for telecommunications, major with English and minor telecommunications. And I was very fascinated with the idea of just production and TV. So I actually did an internship with CW Television in DC, and I really loved it. I wanted to be a part of programming and just the producing of shows, but the opportunity at that station it wasn't enough room to be added. And at that station, it wasn't enough room for an additional employee. So I left that, and I got with a man called Paul Wharton. And Paul Wharton was a media personality for CW Television in DC. So I became his promotional executive assistant. So everything that had to do with him promoting himself, his products, I was in charge of. So I really got to learn reality TV. I got to understand, pitching a show and understanding how to be in entertainment. So I was like, you know what? I love this. Yeah, I love modeling, but I want to be able to speak. I want to be able to have a voice. I want to be able to be creative. And so after doing some research and just realizing that New York is where you need to be for this, I randomly, my whole New York story is actually fascinating. I was on Twitter randomly, and someone said that, hey, they're looking for a fashion stylist assistant. I had no idea how to do that, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to fake it till I make it. So I tweaked my resume. I contacted that individual on Twitter. I said, hey, would love to be your assistant. At that time, people were still communicating back and forth on Twitter, and everyone wasn't bougie. So she responded back to me, and she was like, yeah, send me over your resume. Sent her my resume. She loved it. We got on a call. She's like, be in New York City Monday morning. Mind you, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday when I made that phone call with her. She said, be in New York Monday morning. I had no place to go. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was like, I cannot let this opportunity slip. So told my mom, hey, mom, I'm going to New York City. I packed a bag, made my way up there. I called a couple people that I met either on the trains or the buses when I would commute up there. Somebody said, hey, you can crash with me. Went to their house. I crashed with them for 3 months while I got myself together, and the rest is history.
All right, because New York is very expensive. So, you say you had to crash with somebody when you first went out there, correct?
Yes, I did.
All right. So you got to learn reality TV, got to see more about that. So how did you get started looking into radio?
Well, I had an internship when I was still in the DC area. I did an internship at a place called Montgomery College, and they had a radio station. So I did an internship at their radio station because I just needed some money, and that was the only opening that they had. And so while I was there, I was like, yo, this is really cool. I'm learning how to interview people. I'm understanding how to book people. I'm understanding how to just have the type of cadence and personality for radio. But I wasn't going to school for it, and I never felt like it was something that I could do because I was just always fearful of like how I spoke, and like I never liked the sound of my own voice and things like that. So after doing television, I got to meet so many people, from DJs to promoters to executives to creative directors, because when you're out there like that, a lot of people recognize you, and also you get put in bigger circles, so you're able to meet more people. So I came across a gentleman by the name of DJ John Quick, and DJ John Quick was actually working at 107.5 WBLS at the time when he approached me about possibly doing an Afro Beats radio show because he knew that I was Nigerian. So I said, you know what? Hey, I've never tried it before. I guess we can see what happens. So I went there to do a demo with him. We recorded, I believe, 2 demos. And we also got Chris McCardo, who was a producer at the time at 107.5 WBLS. And yeah, they loved me. They loved me. I truly believe that my life has been a blessing of just opportunities, that right place, right time, and being ready and staying ready so that I don't have to get ready when the opportunity comes.
Yeah, that's what I believe in, the same way. Stay ready so you have to get ready. Yes. So you guys have the first Afro Beats, radio show. Is that just in New York or the US?
So we are in New York City, but we're in the New York tri-state area. So you can hear the radio show in New York City. You can hear it in some parts of New Jersey. You can hear it in some parts of Connecticut. And if you tune in via radio streaming platforms like TuneIn, radio.com, even iHeartRadio, you can hear the show anywhere in the world.
Okay, so let's talk about Afro Beats itself, because that's starting to get, even popular.
Yes.
In the US, and you're starting to hear even US artists jumping on a lot of, Afro Beat style music. Yeah, it's starting to happen. So, it's definitely led to believe, and a lot of people say that a lot of Ghanaian subscribers will say this too, that they the ones started Afro Beats, but you had a different iteration of it. Maybe give people the history of Afro Beats.
Okay, so Afro Beats is actually originated from Afro Beats, which was started by Fela Kuti. And Fela Kuti was a very famous musician in Nigeria that passed away. And that's the original sound of Afro Beats. Afro Beats is a genre mixed up of different African sounds. So you get Ghanaian music, you get Nigerian music, you get South African music. And I truly believe because America is still trying to understand this new emerging genre, everything that comes out of Africa is considered Afro Beats. However, if you're actually someone from there, you can pick up the different sounds. Just like you can say there is R&B, but there's also soul. So like if you're listening to that, there's also jazz, there's also blues. If you're understanding the sound, then you'll get like, oh, there's actually a different there's an up tempo here. Oh, there's low melodies here. But because America is still, they're understanding this slowly. They're like, oh, it's coming from an African artist, must be Afro Beats. And it's like, no, that's not the case. But because we understand that is the market that we're in right now, that's why our show, the radio show that we have, is Afro Beats radio show, because it kind of centers everything so you're able to understand it as an American listener. However, Ghanaians have their own type of music. They have Bantu music. They believe that they started Azanto. Please don't quote me if I got that wrong. Nigerians, we have our own types of beats as well. But I wouldn't say anyone actually created Afro Beats, but I know that Fela Kuti originated Afro Beats, and he is of Nigerian descent.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you another question. And I've heard about this. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know if it's just a rivalry. I'm not even saying it's a beef. It could be a rivalry. What is the rivalry between Ghana and Nigeria?
The jollof rice.
The jollof rice?
The jollof rice. Okay, so I can't say what originated this beef, but let's just put it like this. If someone else is trying to come for Africans, we will all come together and we'll make sure that we do what we have to do to execute that person. But if you are someone that is, let's say, Nigerian and you're battling with somebody from Ghana, then it would be like Nigerians versus Ghanaians. And what it is basically Nigerians having this very westernized way of just doing things where I feel like sometimes it's the best of both worlds. Like they have the nitty grittiness and the resilience from Nigeria they bring to any area of the world that they enter, whether it be sports, music, authors of shows, comedians, actors, whatever. And I feel like a lot of other countries feel like Nigerians have a very pompous, proud attitude about themselves. And that's not necessarily the case. I just feel like because of the upbringings of Nigerians, there's always like you better do good. You better not fail this family. And I believe that attitude and upbringing makes us always want to be the best and do the best and be at the top. But I feel like there's other countries who are still killing it. Like Ghana is doing the year return. And they're doing it so well where they're able to basically collect a whole bunch of people, influencers, celebrities, things of that nature, and bring them to Africa and really show them the beauty of Africa. And I believe that is so important. So everyone has their own little parts that's starting different conversations. Everyone has their own little parts that start in different conversations. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be like, I can dance better than you, or my jollof rice is better than yours. But if you look at the bigger picture is all eyes are on Africa, and it's a beautiful thing. And no matter what country you're from, if you can bring somebody's eyes from the outside to your country, then you're winning.
Okay, so let me ask you another question. Now that with the internet, and now we are a little bit more interconnected. A lot of us in the diaspora is traveling to the African continent now. When people travel, and I try to tell people this, and maybe you could tell them, when we arrive on the African continent.
Well, I'm scared about the question, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
I said I'm scared about your question, but go ahead.
No. It's something. It's not. I just want you just to answer for me just a question. Okay. So we arrive, as Black Americans in, let's say, Nigeria, Ghana, or let's say Nigeria, right? Okay. How are we received when we get there?
That you have money. Let me just make this very clear. America, no matter how hard it is when it comes to just racism and different types of people and just the unfairness of things, when you are a foreigner, you still look at America as, if you can make it in America, then you've made it globally, because no one can water down America's reach. So a lot of foreigners, especially in African countries, when they think of America, they think of, you know, I'm not gonna lie, back in the day, I used to hear like, oh, America, money grows on trees, like that type of thing. And living in America, we know that that is not true. However, that facade sometimes blinds people in foreign countries. So when a lot of Black Americans go to countries in Africa that have majority of Africans, because you may be viewed differently in Morocco, but if you're in Ghana or Nigeria, people may tend to think that you're probably, you know, maybe loaded because you're coming from America. So you'll be received in the circles that will naturally receive you, because there's a whole bunch of celebrities and there's a whole bunch of, you know, people with money in Nigeria and in Ghana. So if you go meet them, then you're going to be welcome. You're going to be good. You're going to feel like you're in America on vacation, honestly. But if you go there and you're going there as a tourist and no one is welcoming you, then you're going to go to the airport and people may hound you for money. They may ask you for it, you know, you're going to give us a little something, you know, because you're going to naturally look fresher than someone who, like, their day-to-day life is in Nigeria. Like, they don't go anywhere else. They're out there hustling. The sun is beating on their skin. So they may look a little different than the ones who come from America. And I'm not saying fresh as in like they're dirty. What I'm saying is, like, your skin is not pounded with with heat all day. Your eyes are probably just a bit whiter because people in Nigeria are always in the market trying to do what they have to do. And a lot of them, you know, their eyes may be a little colored because of all the dust from the winds of the desert that comes through that country. So you're going to just look a little bit different. So people are going to tend to look at you and think that you probably have a little that you can give. So I would recommend that if you do visit countries in Africa, and if you are someone who, you know, you're a giver, definitely bring a couple dollar bills to bless the people at the airport, because they will be asking. So yeah, but I think that you'll be received because you're also Black, but you're going to look at a higher level if you're not meeting someone that is equally on your level or above you.
Yeah, from my experience, yeah, it's good to have a few extra dollars in your pocket. Because the brothers and sisters may would like a love offering here and there, but it doesn't take much to make them happy.
Because the conversion is crazy. So you give somebody a couple dollars, like, you've made their day, their week.
Yeah. I remember the first time when I went to Ethiopia and I gave them, $2, and man, $2 to them was a good tip for them. I'm like, sometimes I would give them $5, or something like that. But I was always told don't start giving too much, because then people gonna be looking at you like okay, you get more.
Attack. Yeah. You definitely want to make sure that you're giving just a couple here and there. Unless, like I said, it depends on who you're meeting. If you're there as a tourist for the first time and nobody knows you, be careful, because you don't know, who's watching. But if you're there to meet someone that's going to welcome you and take you around and make sure that you're good, then hey, you can have a blast. Spend what you want to spend.
Yeah, see, I mostly like it when I'm just chilling normally. I don't be out there dressing up. I just be the way I would go to Nigeria, or let's say when I've been in Kenya or whatever. I'm just dressed normal. I'm not out there trying to flash. Y'all can keep all that flashiness. I'm good. I like how people like let's say you're Warren Buffett or whatever. Like they got all that money, but you wouldn't know them if you didn't know who they were.
Yes. Yeah, that's how you want to be. You want to be cool. You want to be chill. You want to go there and have a good time. You don't want to be pretentious. You don't want to act like you're bigger than you really are. Just go out there, really just enjoy the environment, enjoy the people, because like they say, when you go to a foreign country, you want the best places are those that the locals sometimes go to. So if you're out there, acting like you're Beyonce and Jay-Z, then you're not going to have the best time, because everyone's going to be hounding you and not allowing you to breathe. But if you're just there, chill, dressing regular, doing what you have to do, people will probably look at you because, like I said, your skin may look different, or, the way that you talk, because they're going to automatically pick up that you're not from there as soon as you speak. But if you're just, going through the markets, doing what you have to do, going to different restaurants, people will definitely leave you alone because you're not making a lot of noise. You're not bringing a lot of attention to yourself. It just depends on, it really depends on it really depends on the individual.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we do have a different look. I will say that we do from here. But sometimes you gotta watch, and you know about this. Don't give me the white people price. Like, I'm like, no, you gotta give me the black people price.
I know about that.
I know all about it. Like, say, I know because I'll tell them in a minute. Like, say, like, like, who you think this is? Like I said, I'm not.
Hello, they're gonna be like 5% more.
Yeah, like nah, brother.
I would say honestly, I haven't been there in a while, and I'm trying my best to get back. If not this year, I was planning on going this year, but because of Corona, who knows? But I haven't been there in a while. But I do know from all the, everything that my brother went there last year. My partner goes there 3 or 4 times a year. So I hear everything. I know as much as I can know from someone who is receiving the information from people who go there often. And everyone just says, if you are going to go there and you don't want to get got, try your best to go with a guide, like have someone either on the other side meet you there or go with someone from here that's familiar with the area. Do not think it's Miami where you and your homegirls can just go out there and think that no. The moment you start speaking and you don't have the accent, the moment you start speaking, the moment your mannerisms, the moment the way that you're dressing says that you're not from there, people are going to pick it up and they're going to say like, okay, this is somebody that's probably on vacation. So that means they probably got a couple, so I'm going to try to see if I can get a couple more dollars from them. And I wouldn't say it's wrong because everyone out here is trying to hustle. But I would say that you should know as a person coming to this country that these people are probably not on the same economic level as you. So they may try to give you the white people price.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. But I always thought that's interesting that they tried to do that.
But look, America did the same. Listen, as much as we're going to say that foreign countries try to get over on tourists, America did the same thing when it was time for the shutdown and everyone about coronavirus. They hiked up the prices of tissue paper, sanitizer, mask, whatever. So I feel like no matter what country you're in, if people see that they can get more from you because it's in demand or you absolutely need it, they're going to try.
Right. You talking about coronavirus. Now you was out there in New York. So do you know anyone that in particular that maybe came down with it?
I know of someone who passed away. They weren't particularly close to me, but they were close to somebody that I know and care for. And it was a shocking experience because even though you hear about coronavirus and you see it on the news, it still seems like it's still out there. Like it's still like how you hear about all these crimes, which you're like, oh, it can never happen to me. Like it's out there. Like I'm seeing it on the TV. It's out there because as long as we're staying safe, it should be fine. But then when I got the phone call about the person who passed, I was shocked because it was very just like, this is actually like, what? Like this, like not saying that this was like, I thought it was a facade or if it was fake or anything, but it just like, wow, like people are actually really passing away from this thing that came out of nowhere that have shortened so many lives. And it's so crazy. It's still so crazy to me. Like I wake up every single day blessed that I'm still alive, that I'm still well, that none of my direct, like immediate family members are affected by this, but it's just to know that there's something out there that came literally out of nowhere that's just wiping out people. It's still mind-boggling to me.
So, I mean, how do you feel about getting back, at least in the studio in New York? I mean, do you feel kind of apprehensive? Do you feel like, I'm ready to go back? How you feel?
I feel a little apprehensive because Did y'all clean everything? Is everything wiped down? Like, I am a little bit, because there's no vaccine. There is actually nothing that anyone has come out with to say, hey, this thing right here stops the virus. There is nothing. And from what the news and scientists are saying, it's not going to come out for another 12 to 18 months. And so I don't see myself being happy to go on the train or being happy to go to the studio, because you can't tell me that the mask alone is going to protect us every single time. Like, it's going to literally feel like we're playing Jeopardy with our lives. Like, okay, all right, okay, I got to go to the studio. Okay, this is going to be the day. Okay, everything's going to be fine. You have to literally prepare yourself for battle every single time you step outside, because there's actually no vaccine. Like, you have to have the mask, you have to have the gloves, you have to make sure that, you know, your hair isn't out so it doesn't touch anything. You have to make sure that whatever outfit you put on, you come back, you throw it in the laundry. It's just so much. So I'm really apprehensive about going back to the studio and just getting back on the trains and things like that, because I don't know if you take care of yourself the way I do. And I don't know if the MTA wiping down a seat is going to keep the disease away from a million other people that's going to sit in that same seat as soon as that person is finished cleaning it. So yeah, it's a bit, I don't know. I've been thinking about it because I have to get back into the swing of things, but it's a little nerve-wracking right now. I'll be honest.
Oh, okay, so you say you would ride the MTA?
Yes, I actually I live in New York City, and the way to get around New York City is Ubers, subways, trains, things like that. So I would have to get on the subway. But right now I'm living in Connecticut, so I haven't been in New York City since March. But I plan on going back maybe in the next 2 weeks, just to kind of like get back into the swing of things, because I can't hide out in Connecticut forever. And I know that New York City is opening back up slowly in June. So, you know, I have to get into this new normal. I can't hide away, because then, you know, I'm going to always be scared to like go out there. So, yeah, I take the trains. That is a question, but I just wanted to emphasize that I'm scared.
Well, you know, for me, you know how I look at it, you know, like I say, our state, Texas, has been open since May the 1st, right? And I know everything that you're talking about. Now, I don't ride public transportation because here in Texas, I mean, it's little, especially in my area, I mean, it's too spread out. So most everybody have cars here. But for me, you know, I look at it like this, you know, I've always socially distanced from people on a good day. Okay. I don't be in people's face like that. I don't like people being in my personal space. I don't. I take my vitamin C.
Yes.
You know, I think like 1,200 milligrams. And then I take my 5,000 units of vitamin D3 once a week. And I just rock with it. You know, like I said, I mean, this washing the hands thing they were talking about, I'm actually glad, because not so much for myself, because I know you have seen this. People come out the restroom, they're washing their hands, and there's a lot of unclean people in society. So coronavirus, if it did anything else, it made people actually start cleaning their hands more and living more sanitary.
Yes, I wouldn't call myself a germaphobe, although my partner would say that I am. But I would say that I was always someone that took off my shoes as soon as I entered my place, because New York City is so dirty with like the dogs, the spitting, the gum. I would always wash my hands whenever I came in from outside, because I would take the subway. I would take off my clothes and put on house clothes. I have a no house clothes on the bed type of rule, because I've always wiped things down extra. I've always rinsed cups before when I take a cup from the cabinet, I've always rinsed it before using it. I've always been that person, because I honestly feel like there's germs. There's just germs out there. So the fact that everyone's doing it now, I'm just like, oh, I've always done this. I'm not OCD, but I've always been someone that's tried to at least keep my part of the world a little clean. And so seeing all these people trying to now be extra clean is good. But I feel like if we would have been extra clean before, we would have definitely been able to decrease a lot of these, a lot of people getting this disease. But I also feel like the negative part of it is it's going to be a lot of people that are OCD with the cleaning, where they may start developing different types of viruses or antibodies in their system, but also their bodies may not be able to build that, because sometimes you need a little dirt to build strong immune systems. So I don't know if you've heard about the children who are now getting sick because of they said it's very similar to the Kawasaki disease, where it's basically your immune system hasn't been strong enough to fight viruses. And so a lot of kids are getting that disease now, because I truly believe that the doctors say they don't know, but I truly believe because a lot of these kids are like, they're 2, they're 5, they're 7, they're 10, and their bodies are not used to smelling chlorine and bleach and Lysol all day. So when their bodies start getting used to that, because it takes 21 days to develop a habit. So once your body starts getting used to that, and then you go out for, let's say you go to the park and there's a new disease that just sprouted that this year, and your child can get it easily because they haven't built their immune system to fight off that disease. So a lot of things are going to come from this coronavirus. It's actually pretty scary, but you need a little disease in your system to build an immune system. But you don't want coronavirus.
No. I talked with a brother who's a fellow content creator. He actually came down coronavirus. The brother survived, thank God.
Okay, thank God.
I would not want nothing like that. But at the same time, I don't want to, I know this is a different conversation, but I don't want to fool with those people's vaccine for it. I've talked to some health professionals, and they said they don't even want to take it until it's been out at least about 5 years. But
yeah.
I'm just gonna, like I said, I will continue to socially distance, and that trust me, that keeps just my life at peace, and I socially distance from a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
So Sana, I'll say, so what's next? We wrap up. I mean, you have anything coming up? Any events?
What's next? Well, my 9 to 5, although I do the radio station, my actual 9 to 5 is I am a social media manager. So I manage social media pages for small businesses, from fashion to healthcare and to wellness. And right now I'm just building my clientele, helping people to understand how to go from brick and mortars to building an online presence, because as you know, a lot of companies shut down due to coronavirus. So a lot of people are at a standstill. So what I've been able to do for a lot of companies is kind of just come in and let them know, like, hey, you don't have to die. Just turn your product into something and service into something that you can sell online. So that's when I come in, I help them create content, I help them create themes for their social media pages. We brand their content and we start putting it out there into the world. And there's a lot of people who have seen great results with that. So for anybody out there who is trying to get on social media or trying to understand it, research. Google is your best friend. If you don't know where to start, you can reach out to me. But that's one thing that I'm doing. I'm also working with a new PR company, trying to get myself out there because I want to get my voice heard. I will be assisting Eric Adams. He will be running for the mayor of New York City in 2021. So I am joining his campaign as a volunteer, because I want to see a change in America. I want to see a change in New York City. I think that being Black in America right now is really a lot of light being shown on it. And I believe that the revolution is happening before our eyes, and it will be televised. So that is also something that I'm working on. And I'm also going to create a podcast because I want to talk to people about their hustle, because I know I have a New York story. I know how I got here and I know where I am now. So I want to talk to people to understand what they had to do to get where they are today.
Yes. And, people definitely, probably better than me that, you got to hustle on top of a hustle and have about 30 jobs.
Yeah.
Because some people think that, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody when I say this. If you think that you're going to work just one job and that's it, coronavirus showed that having one job, putting all your eggs in one basket, like you said, a lot of companies shut down during coronavirus. Put all your eggs in one basket, have 42 million people unemployed right now. So that's why I always tell people, you gotta have more than one thing that you're doing. You can't I don't care if you work your job and create some shirts on Teespring and sell T-shirts, something else, you got money coming in.
I actually have a friend who she was trying to figure out, because she's a seamstress, she's a fashion designer, I'm sorry. And she was trying to figure out for months, like how to get her stuff out there. You know, I was wearing her stuff online, I was wearing it to events, but it just wasn't hitting the way that it should have. But the moment coronavirus came, we talked about it. We were like, what can you do? She's like, hey, I can make masks. I was like, you know what? Try making masks. She has made so much money in these last 3 months making masks alone that now she's like growing her business into other parts of, now she's going to start making, you know, type of goggles and things like that. And it's because of her, you know, understanding her business, understand what she could bring to the market. And there has been a lot of people who have used this time to either become successful. They got themselves out there. Look at DJ Nice with like becoming a well-known DJ now because of Instagram Live. You know, a lot of people are out there now. And I believe that this time was for everyone to just understand where they are and where they could go. Now, some people, like, they just needed this time to sleep and relax, and that's fine. Some people needed this time to really understand their partners and who they were with. But I believe that the core of this situation was to really just ground ourselves, because we were destroying the world. The world was being absolutely destroyed. And I don't know if you noticed this, but maybe, I don't know if you do because you're in Houston, but this is the first time in maybe 4 years where this has actually been June. Like, the weather that we're experiencing is actually the weather that's supposed to be in June. The last 3 Junes that I remember, I was wearing sweaters and a light jacket in June. But because we were off the road for 3 months, we weren't emitting pollution, we weren't messing things up, we weren't throwing trash everywhere, we were stuck in the house. So because of those things, we were able to let the world breathe. And so now things are happening where we're getting back to where the world used to be. I don't know how long it's going to last, because we are the human population and we love to destroy things. However, I do witness that, you know, I think we needed to just, you know, bring it on down a little bit. That's what I believe. I
agree. Well, I say I believe this is what I believe. Certain members of our population like to destroy things because, you know, people like me and you have been around for thousands of years, and the earth was very green and pretty. For a long time, to certain people showed up and started destroying things. Yeah. But with that being said,
that's true. I shouldn't say everybody, but some. I say, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't say everybody.
No, you shouldn't say everybody, because a lot of cultures, you know, appreciated the trees and the sun and the flowers and animals and, you know, that sort of thing. You know, animals didn't start going extinct to certain people showed up. So, you know, even on the continent.
Very true.
So, Sana, you say, tell people how to get to your Instagram and how they can check out your show.
You guys can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Sana Kibz. That's SANAKIBZ, as well as check out my radio show every Friday night on 107.5 WBLS at 11 p.m. You can stream us on any radio streaming platform. And if you're in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut, just turn your dial to 107.5 WBLS.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's say make sure you connect, you know, with Sana. Like I said, we'll put, you know, the links down in the pinned comments. So Sana, we definitely thank you for having a conversation with us today. And I can definitely tell you're a radio personality by, you know, the way that you come across. You know, you definitely, you know, doing good in that area. I like this kind of interviews where I don't have to say much and y'all just doing most of the talking. I love that. It makes it so easy on me.
Thank you. And before we leave, can I just say one thing about the racism that's happening?
Yes, you can. Talk about it.
Yes. Okay. So I would just like to say that being Black in America shouldn't make me fear for my life. Once upon a time, when I used to see a police officer, I used to feel like they were there to protect and serve. But now when I see a police officer, I feel like, could this be it? Could this be the day that I get arrested? Could this be the day that I get tear gassed? Could this be the day that I die? And it makes me just fear for the future of my life, as well as the life of my Black sons and daughters and my partner. And I just want the world to understand that being Black should not be a crime. Having this skin complexion should not automatically make me a target for your racism. And I just want us to just understand that as a Black people, we should not feel inferior to whatever conditions that people have tried to put upon us. And I believe that the time is now, and we are doing what's necessary to take back what we truly have always wanted, which was just equality, equality. That's it. We just wanted to be treated the same way as our counterparts. And so I hope that with everything that's happening, the riots, the people protesting, the people on social media, I truly believe that this is going to be a time that people will not forget. And I hope that at the end of it all, we come out stronger, because something does need to change.
Yes, well, as I stated before, if we keep up the pressure, like I say, from what I learned about America with coronavirus, they can only take 60 days for the pressure. Anything more than 60 days, they crack. So we can keep up the pressure on about demanding transformative change with police departments and ending white supremacy that has fueled a lot of anti-Black racism. Then, like I said, we will see that change. But we got to keep the pressure on. So definitely, for sure, let's say we should not fear, being Black. I mean, at all. That should not be. And one thing coronavirus did was definitely let people know their privilege didn't work, because coronavirus didn't care about your privilege at all.
Not at all. They attacked a certain group first. So it had nothing to do with your circumstances or your privilege. So yes, but thank you so very much for having me. I really, truly appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing for the platform that you have. And I look forward to seeing the interview. And I look forward to just working with you, hopefully again soon, because we have to get out there. We have to let people know that Africa is here. Africa is here. We ain't going nowhere.
That's right. Like I say, other people go somewhere before we go somewhere. But thank you, sis, for joining us today, and we hope you stay blessed.